Wray, you have told House committees that you need to look hard at what happened. You are committed to doing better. You told Chairwoman Maloney that you have to bat 1,000%, and even one mistake is unacceptable, and you will make sure this never.
Madam Chair, I move to adjourn.
Madam Chair, if I could pause, I'm not being.
There's been a motion, Madam Chair.
He doesn't have the floor.
The gentleman is not recognized. It is Mr. Khanna.
You know, Madam Chair, we had an insurrection. We don't need disruptions here. Can we allow the democratic process to continue, please?
Some of our members would like to hear the complete testimony.
Well, I think that we should follow the rules.
The rules state that if there is a motion to adjourn, that we have to have a vote immediately.
Madam Chair, we have a motion on the floor. A motion on the floor.
Regular order. Regular order.
The gentleman will suspend.
Regular order is there's been a motion made and we vote on the motion.
Madam Chair, may I continue my line of inquiry?
The gentleman, Mr. Khanna, will continue.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Director Wray, you have said that you have to bat 1,000%, that there is no room for a mistake. But Director Wray, instead of speaking in generalities, you know, I mean, if there was a football coach after a losing season who gave those generalities, that wouldn't cut it with the American public. So I want to drill down on specifics. Was this an intelligence failure on the part of the FBI?
I wouldn't describe it that way, but I would say that we consider what happened on January 6th to be unacceptable. We share
no,
the
I don't want the generalities, sir. I don't want the platitudes. I want the specifics of what went wrong. Like someone would say, our quarterback didn't throw correctly. We didn't have enough defense. What are the specifics? Don't give me any platitudes. Did the FBI have any intelligence that was actionable about what happened on January 6th? Yes or no?
To my knowledge, sir, we did not have actionable intelligence that indicated that hundreds of people were going to breach the Capitol.
So wouldn't this be an intelligence failure if you did not have actionable intelligence and if the CEO of Parler knew what was going on and half of social media and half the folks on the internet knew what was going on? Wouldn't you describe that as an intelligence failure?
Well, I'm not trying to quibble on terminology, sir. I guess what I would just say to you is that anytime there's an attack, we consider that to be unacceptable, and we're determined to try to get better sources so that we can have more information.
Would you say you need to do a better job getting intelligence on these kind of attacks?
Yes, sir, I would say that, and I'm glad you raised that, because that's one of the things, if you want to sort of take it out of the realm of what you're calling platitudes, that's one of the things that we are particularly focused on is how can we develop better human sources to anticipate things like this? That's one. How can we develop better data analytics?
Was there a failure? Did you have any intelligence which you failed to act on, or is it your testimony that there was no actionable intelligence?
I am sitting here right now, recognizing that this, as has already been discussed, a sprawling investigation. I am not aware of any actionable intelligence that we failed to pass on.
You spoke about how you were surprised that there were no individuals who were arrested of the 500 that you had investigated. I was shocked. I said, how is it possible that you have 500 of these individuals who have never been investigated by the FBI? Does it concern you that none of the people who were arrested were on your radar at the FBI?
Well, two things. One, I think I said almost none, not none.
You did.
Second, certainly the investigation is ongoing, and facts will develop further as we go forward.
Did you have
yes, but third, yes. That is one of the things that I view as most important to us, which is we obviously had lots of very well-predicated, important investigations that we were conducting.
Did you have any investigations, sir? My time is running out. I don't want to be rude, but did you have any investigations on Oath Keepers, Proud Boys, or 3%ers?
I know we had investigations related to individuals connected with some of those groups. I can't, sitting here right now, separate in my head which investigations were before January 6th. Do you think in retrospect you should have paid more attention and intelligence to some of the white supremacists and extremist groups, and that there was not sufficient intelligence done
on those groups?
I'm not sure I would go that far, and here, let me just tell you why. We have, during my time as director, dramatically increased, I think doubled the number of investigations that we have been conducting specifically into what we call racially motivated violence.
But you don't think if there were all these arrests, sir, I'm sorry to interrupt, but you don't think that if there were all these arrests and none of them were people, or almost none were people that you had investigated, and half the internet is talking about these folks and knows about these folks, that the FBI needs to do a better job in getting intelligence? And then let me just ask this final question, which you can ask. If you knew before January 6th what the FBI knows now about the militia groups conspiring to attack the Capitol, would the government have been able to thwart this attack?
Well, on the first part, I think I've been very clear consistently that I think the FBI needs to do better, and we're determined to do better. On the second part, it's hard for me to answer a hypothetical. Certainly, if we had information that we've been developing in our investigations since January 6th, before January 6th.
And Director Wray, does it make your job harder when some of the lawmakers in this body are praising the protesters, some even saluting with a clenched fist the protesters? Does that make the job of the FBI harder to get after those who harmed our democracy?
I guess the best way for me to answer that is I certainly understand why you're asking the question, but I think it's best for me as FBI director to speak through our work and not to be weighing in commentary on specific people's rhetoric. But I certainly understand why you're asking the question.
I appreciate your service, sir.